Could you guys hear that?
I wasn't able to make it out, but that is a long.
I heard two sentences. I heard you hurt me.
She's like,
and
closer.
then I heard something else.
If you hear it here, we'll play it again for you.
Yeah, it's a 19-second clip, and there is some silence in the beginning, but then what you hear is what sounds like a young child's voice. It fades in really quick, and it's a sing-song going closer to you, closer to me, and she repeats it. So let me play it one more time.
Oh, yeah. I hear it.
And there is no cats, no kids, and Jennifer's the only woman in the room, and she's a smoker, too, so she has a deeper voice. So it's pretty amazing.
I think that is amazing. I totally hear it. Once you hear it, not to jade me, but I totally hear it now.
And that's very cool because, every once in a while, one of our slides we have that we put in our presentation is I'll go through the different types of EVP that we have recorded, and I tell people a little bit about what to listen for. And one of them is sing-song EVP, and it sounds like the voice is coming through on a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what it sounds like. We have recorded EVP that way before, and it's interesting because I read an article, it's probably a couple of years ago, and it was from somebody, I think they were in Germany, and they were a musician. And they were saying that the majority of the EVP they get comes through in that sing-song kind of voice, and I thought that was really interesting.
That is weird. I wonder if it's not the geological location.
Well, I think it's more they're pinpointing his energy, and he's a musician. That's his energy. And
that's a good point.
Interesting.
For one.
You're welcome.
That's a very interesting theory. Yeah, it's EVPs are just so phenomenal to me, and the fact that we're able to record them, and the recorders keep getting better and clearer as time goes on. Although I noticed that there's sometimes even when the Ghost Adventure guys seem to use some recorders that don't have that pure quality sound. It sounds a little bit more rustic, for a better word, like a generation or so back. So some of the EVPs are a little harder to hear. Do you guys use different types of recorders, or different like recorders that are older and some newer?
We do.
Yeah, we experiment with everything. We're hopefully, and I'm so stoked. We were talking to Gary Galka. We're hopefully going to be working with the real-time recorders. And then we use the Sonys, we use the Olympus, we use the loading kind, we use everything. We use everything. I use some from Walmart. I go to thrift stores. I use, what do you call those old companies?
Analog.
Yeah, I'll buy anything, and at thrift stores they're $1. Buy them, try them. If you don't like them, chuck them.
Yeah.
I'll buy anything and try anything.
And our experience is that the older generation recorders,
they have more internal noise.
Right. They do tend to work better. Now there's a drawback because we also have an H2 Zoom, which is crystal clear. And we have heard people that have recorded EVP from the Zoom recorders. And although they might not get the volume of EVP that we get, when they do come through, they tend to be crystal clear.
That's the same with the Panasonics,
right. There's a drawback to using the older generation recorders because you might get more EVP, but there's some editing that's involved because you want to try to make them a little bit clearer because they tend to be more gruff.
Right, and if you're doing short bursts, you're going to have to load them one at a time, and it's a very time-consuming process.
There's no USB capabilities to the recorders that we use, and that's why it doesn't take much for us to get buried.
Yeah.
Understandable. I mean, I remember the very first EVP I ever got, and this was back before the term EVP was really even coined. Back in 1981, I was in high school. I went to a cemetery with just an analog cassette recorder. We saw a documentary, my brother and a friend, documentary about going around and tape recording graves and getting voices. So we thought, hey, that's cool, let's go do it. So we went to a local cemetery, and sure enough, we got a very clear EVP of a young girl on the same grave. 2 EVPs. We got one where she whispers, "I'm dead, help me." Which freaked us out. My friend wanted to go running home, but me, I was the brave one. I go, no, let's see if we can get more. So I recorded again, and immediately, right away, clear as day, she's speaking very loud. She goes, "It isn't finished." Which goes right into the whole theory of, a lot of these spirits being earthbound because they have unfinished business.
Wow.
Yeah.
Same voice?
Same voice, same exact voice, yes.
Wow. See, and that's my thing, too. Like, when people provoke, it does aggravate me because, if these people are alive, it's like somebody knocking at your door. You wouldn't yell at these people. You wouldn't treat them like garbage. And then for some unfound reason, people think, well, people are dead. You can treat them like garbage. It's like, I'm sorry, what do you do in your spare time? Drown kittens?
Easy there.
No, I'm sorry, but
Well,
really,
it's true.
It's true.
But it's true. It's like these are the same people that if somebody was standing in front of them, they'd be nice as pie. But
Yeah,
because
exactly.
this spirit doesn't have a body, they are all of a sudden they're like.
Yeah, and then if they do fight back, you've got Class A evidence. So it's really, I don't know. It's just really, to me, deeply wrong. But whatever.
Everybody's got their own style.
Well, it was, I laughed because you guys did ask about Zach when we were at the Jenny Wade, and the EVP we got back was like really harsh. It was burn Zach. Remember that? It was really harsh.
But but those guys, I'll tell you what, from the time they put their documentary out to now, they have come such a long ways. I mean, just by doing it all the time, I mean, they really have
they
a
are
respect.
Sponges,
yeah,
they learn from everybody they work with. And if you notice now, I mean, my God, if you were to take me from 10 years ago, I'd look at that person and say, my God, I don't want her anywhere near me. And that was me. You know what I mean? And, I'm sorry, we're not perfect people, and this is how we all learn. But now if you notice, when they single out a ghost, it's a negative ghost that's raped or killed or God knows what they've done to somebody. That's the ghost they're singling out.
Yeah.
And not for nothing, we all die. There's a lot of people here. I love the dead. I love the dead at times, more than the living, I think per capita. But, you can't, I don't know, Mark, help me out here.
I'm not sure where you were going.
Either am I, but
well, I think you were talking about being respectful to those most spirits.
You don't know who you're speaking with or whatever, but at least, have the decency to realize they're dead.
Right.
Idiots die too. They could come in too. If you're initiating communication, if somebody tells me to shut up in my house, you'll be damn straight. I'll tell them shut up and get out. But, there's a line you have to draw. These, this is the dead. And I do think they're a bit wiser in the sense that if you don't believe that there's an afterlife after this, now they're like, oh, my God, I'm seeing other dimensions. Well, this is real. So, and they have so much to wrap their minds around.
And not only that, I mean, we don't know what they have to go through to bring their message forward.
Yeah.
I mean...
And they don't have to talk to you.
Right.
There's no law that says just because you turn on a recorder, they have to talk to you.
Exactly. Truth be told, they don't have to talk to us if they don't want to.
And you guys
if they chose not to talk
to
to us, we would sit there with our recorders and not get a damn thing. And I think that's the thing that we try to emphasize. And like I said, everybody has their own style, and to each his own. If you want to go in and you want to, you want to provoke and you want to be the big badass, then that's fine. I mean, that's just who you are. But that's why we try to emphasize, what? Don't be disrespectful. You don't know who you're speaking to.
And,
they're nice enough to talk to them.
Well, not only that, too, but I do believe that, if you want to take this to the next level, you're being watched. Not only are you being watched, you're being evaluated. Because my deal is, you're only alive because you need to learn more or you need to teach more. And when that's over is probably your time to die, So for whatever reason,
Okay. Debbie, I really hate to interrupt you, but are you hearing, is there a girl in the room speaking right now?
No.
No, but I am on the porch smoking a cigarette, and there is a chime next door on on the
No,
porch
we're not
next door.
hearing a chime. We're here. We've been hearing for the last minute or so a young girl, female voice speaking in the background behind you.
No, I was worried that you were hearing that guys might be hearing our dog, but we've got a great big dog, and he's barking in his dog run.
No, there sounds like
No,
kids
but it
playing
sounds like a
outside,
dog bark.
like kids possibly playing in the distance or something.
It
right?
didn't. No,
No.
it sounded more like a voice.
Yeah.
More like a
No,
voice.
really.
We're hearing
And
that.
we don't. I'm not picking that up at all.
No, but that's not the first time that we've heard like feedback on stuff.
Oh, I'll have to listen for it.
Yeah, I've isolated the time here. We're going to have to definitely go back and listen to that. Well, we're all coming to the end of the show, and I wanted to ask, what are your plans for the future from going forward from here?
Mark, do you have the computer?
Yeah, we've got a couple conferences coming up.
Well, I know you have Mansfield, which is.
Yeah, I think Mansfield sold out. That's coming up in a couple weeks. I
But
know.
it's awesome anyway, and that's with the Coast Adventures.
Yeah, and if there's anybody, Virginia
Virginia City.
is for anybody that's never been there, Virginia City is probably the most haunted town that I've ever been to.
The
I
whole
would love to
town
go
is
to
haunted.
that convention.
No,
That's some
seriously,
convention.
I'm hearing feedback, but there's miners, there's, mines that collapsed, people got suffocated, there was great fires there. There's, I hate to say it, but with a happy face, but there's more tragedy in this town. And it's like actually swinging doors on the buildings. You have the Washoe Club, St. Mary's Art Center, and Tara, the one that does the conferences. I swear to God, I've never seen anyone that gives you more time per location than Tara. So what's her website, www.apirweebly.com?
Yeah, it's. I think if you go to APR,
Or you can go to our website and then just click
right,
the banner.
it's called a Paranormal Interest Retreat, and it's May 12th through the 15th, and I still think she has a couple tickets left. But
And
like
it's
I said,
reasonably priced. It's very reasonably priced.
Yeah, and that includes the hotel room, the price.
does it?
I thought it did. I'm not sure, but you can talk to Tara.
Right, and then we've got. Before that, I think a week before that, we're going to be at the Manteca Paranormal Expo in Manteca, California. It's Spirit Work Productions. I know there are some tickets left for that. And then I think in June, we're going to be in Red Boiling Springs, Tennessee. It's June 3rd through
Which
the 5th.
I'm stoked, because I've never been to Tennessee.
And the conference is called The Dead and Gone. It's New Light Paranormal. And what's really interesting, if we have a minute, is that about 4 or 5 years ago, we came across a haunted bed and breakfast on the internet. And just for the hell of it, I contacted a real estate agent in Tennessee, and I said, hey, this house is for sale, this bed and breakfast. Can you get us some information on it? Not that we could have afforded it, but
Yeah, we could have. But
it was for a good price, and it was like a up-and-running bed and breakfast. It was like 18 rooms and blah, blah, blah.
with hot springs in the back.
Right. So anyway, the real estate agent never really helped us, never really got us information. So that all kind of went by the wayside. And then now, lo and behold, we're doing a conference at the exact same bed and
We
breakfast.
think, we're not sure,
It
but,
is, it is
how weird
the
is that?
same. It is the same
All
place.
right, well, he knows everything, so I suppose it's the same.
So I'm thinking that we're probably going to get some crazy stuff there because as weird
It's
as
almost
it was,
personal,
yeah.
I can't wait to see that. You're going to have to talk about it on Facebook for sure.
Great. Well,
yeah, we will.
Well, Mark and Debbie, I just really wanted to thank you for coming on the show. You guys have been phenomenal to talk to. We've had such a good time here tonight, and we're definitely going to have you back on the program again sometime soon.
Well, absolutely.
Totally.
That's a fascinating topic.
Oh, yeah.
It is, certainly is. Well, again, thank you for being on, and I want to thank everybody for listening to the show tonight. To be sure to tune in next week at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our next show. And we're going to sign off tonight, as usual, by saying good night, John, wherever you are.
Oh, yeah. I hear it.
And there is no cats, no kids, and Jennifer's the only woman in the room, and she's a smoker too, so she has a deeper voice. So it's pretty amazing.
No, I think that is amazing. I totally hear it. Once you hear it, not to jade me, but I totally hear it now.
And that's very cool because, every once in a while
that we're able to record them, and the recorders keep getting better and clearer as time goes on. Although I noticed that there's sometimes, even when the Ghost Adventure guys seem to use some recorders that don't have that pure quality sound. It sounds a little bit more rustic, for a better word, like a generation or so back. So some of the EVPs are a little harder to hear. Do you guys use different types of recorders, or different like recorders that are older and some newer?
We do.
Yeah, we experiment with everything.
Musician, and they were saying that the majority of the EVP they get comes through in that sing-song kind of voice, and I thought that was really interesting.
That is weird. I wonder if it's not the geological location.
Well, I think it's more they're pinpointing his energy, and he's a musician. That's his energy. And
that's a good point.
Interesting.
For one.
You're welcome.
That's a very interesting theory. Yeah, it's again, EVPs are just so phenomenal to me, and the fact.
While one of our slides we have that we put in our presentation is, I'll go through the different types of EVP that we have recorded, and I tell people a little bit about what to listen for. And one of them is a sing-song EVP, and it sounds like the voice is coming through on a roller coaster. And that's exactly what it sounds like. We have recorded EVP that way before, and it's interesting because I read an article, it's probably a couple of years ago, and it was from somebody, I think they were in Germany, and they were...
Did you guys hear that?
I wasn't able to make it out, but that is a long.
I heard two sentences. I heard "you hurt me."
She's like,
and then I heard something else.
She if you hear it here, we'll play it again for you.
Yeah, it's a 19-second clip, and there is some silence in the beginning, but then what you hear is what sounds like a young child's voice. It fades in really quick, and it's a sing-song going, "Closer to you, closer to me," and she repeats it. So let me play it one more time.